Hey everyone, welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion explanation of straight versus pre-multiplied alpha images. And I know in some of the breakdowns, some people have been a little confused by what pre-multiplied or alpha multiply, alpha divide, what all that means. So I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit, not too in-depth, but enough for all of us to understand when it comes to using it in DaVinci Resolve Fusion. So in general, straight images have a RGB or red, green, and blue and an independent alpha channel. So these channels are separate. So if, say we needed to make green, we could change our color to 0 red, 255 green, which 255 is the max for your color, and 0 blue, making green. And say on our alpha, we wanted it to be 50% transparent. And saying alpha or transparency or opaqueness is kind of all synonymous. It means the same. But say we want to make this 50% transparent, and look, I used the correct number this time. What a straight image is doing is it's taking that color and then using that separate channel for that alpha with your new color of 0 for red, 255 for green, 0 for blue, and 0.5 as the alpha. So your color really isn't changing, it's just changing that alpha value. And that's how a straight image works. For a pre-multiplied image, it also has transparency or opaqueness, or however you want to call it, but it's not its own individual channel. It's just kind of happening. So if we wanted to make green and have it 50% transparent, how these images work is it creates your color of 0, 255, and 0, making green, and multiplies that transparency to come up with our new color, which is 0, 127.5, and 0. With that transparency kind of mixed in there. But as you can see, it's actually changing our color. But this is what we call pre-multiplied or alpha multiplied or pre-multed, or there's tons of words for it. But this is basically what it's doing. It's multiplying your color and your transparency together to come up with the new values. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, our divide or divided, it's taking that color of 0, 1, 2, 7.5, and 0 with our 50% transparency and dividing it back to come back up to our 0, 255, and 0. So there's a few things to remember in Fusion because this affects a lot of stuff. And first, how it affects your image itself is we'll take this image, and this image is pre-multiplied. It's a PNG, I believe. And it's pre-multiplied, so we have a transparent background. And if I take, say, our alpha divide, and I'll stick this in, so we're kind of making it a straight image. You can see we've got a new separate alpha channel, but you can see what it's doing to our image. So a lot of times if you get an image and it looks like this straight out the box, that means it's probably a straight image. And some of the telltale signs are your shadows are colored, and you'll have these jagged edges, so it's not quite smooth, and your blends on your transparent parts aren't quite working very well. So if this is happening to you and you need it smoother, all you have to do is take a alpha multiply, and we're going to pretend this alpha divide isn't here. This is just your straight image, and plug it into your alpha multiply, and now you have a pre-multiplied image. So it's nice and smooth. So some things to remember though is these do change your coloring. And to kind of show that example, I'm gonna disconnect this, and I created this little example here. And I've got two squares, both of them are set to green, so 100% green. So 255 on our green, 255 on our green on this one. And I'm going to add an alpha multiply on our left square and an alpha divide on our right square. And you can see nothing changed. They look the same. Nothing's really happened. But if I go to our left square and change my alpha down to 50%, or my transparency down to 50%, and I go to my right square that's alpha divided and change it down to 50%, you can see what happens. So we just changed our transparency on this one, but nothing really happened to our alpha divided one because it's keeping that color and changing just our alpha. And to kind of show that, I've got another rectangle over here that's black, and I'm going to copy this and get this color from here. So now you see our color just changed, but it's not actually the same color as our original square, because our original square was 100% green. But now this is showing green of 0.5, or our 127.5, half green. But our alpha popped back up to 1. And if I was to clear this out, and let's grab this other color of our alpha divided, you could see our color just actually bumped up to 2, because you got to realize this is divided. So it's dividing that alpha by our color, which was 1 in Fusion, making it 1 divided by 0.5 equals 2. So that's why it's changing that color. But this program knows there's no such thing beyond 1, so it's not actually changing the color, even though our numbers are saying 2. There's no such thing as 2, because 1 is actually the highest, and these nodes know that. So you can see the difference of what's happening to our color. So if we're trying to create color and we're copying color and moving color, you can see this is why some things are working, some things are not working. So knowing the difference of what's happening is important. And this is why most of these nodes, if we look at our color correct node and we go to our options, we have this pre-divide, post-multiply. And if we check this, what's happening is when we bring something in, it's pre-dividing it so we can work on the true color of what's really happening in our nodes, not the multiplied color. It's working on the true color, and then after all those operations, right before it goes back out again, it's post-multiplying it so it brings it back down to that correct transparency. So I hope that explains the difference between alpha multiplied and alpha divide, or straight and pre-multiplied images. And if you have any more questions, just drop them down in the comments and I'll try to explain as easy as I can. So have a great day.